Hi guys, I am here today with beautiful Shivani and I'm going to show you a look starting off with a little bit of skin prep. I have cleansed her skin and now I'm just moisturizing, starting with a serum. This is the Bare Minerals Longevity Serum. To moisturize, I'm going to use the Pureness Light Moisturizer just because we don't want anything too heavy. Obviously once we're layering, then we don't want anything too heavy that's going to move around, just something very lightweight and hydrating that's going to sit beautifully under makeup. Really helps to kind of build up the skin barrier over time, which is crucial for keeping your skin hydrated and protected as well. The primer that I'm going to use is the Primed and Poreless from Too Faced. This really helps to refine skin texture, remove any kind of unwanted shine, but not take any moisture out of the skin. So that's why I like to prep with something hydrating to start with, and then use this to really refine and mattify before we put the foundation on top. Beautiful. Foundation that I'm going to use is the Bare Minerals Liquid Mineral Foundation. This is a new release from Bare Minerals and it's based on their iconic mineral powder foundation. They come in 30 different shades and actually the shades are beautiful. This is such a perfect match for Shivani's skin tone. Have a look at that as it goes on. I love the fact that they do lots of different tones as well, so this matches perfectly with the yellow base in Shivani's skin. So I'm just buffing that foundation in now with the Bare Minerals Luxe Performance Brush. Gives a really quick, easy and flawless finish to this base. I would say this is a medium coverage, but it's super, super beautiful on the skin. You can build it up a little bit if you wanted something more full coverage, or if you put it on directly after your moisturizers and serums, as we've done, then you can really buff it out to be quite sheer and natural. Gorgeous. I'm going to conceal now with the Pat McGrath Skin Fetches Sublime Concealer. This is, as you can see, a little bit brighter than the foundation shade we use, so that's kind of what I'm using it for, just to almost highlight but really brighten also under the eyes. It is shade L7, and the reason why I've gone for this one, as well as being a bit brighter, it's also got that lovely olive tone to it, so it's going to match really well once we blend this in. I put a little bit of contouring in the skin just so that we add some dimension back. So I love to put a little bit in the temples there, obviously under cheekbones. I'm going to put a touch down the sides of the nose here. Obviously being a cream contour, we want to put this on before we put powder on, and this just blends quite seamlessly. And pop a touch at the top of the forehead too. Now I'm going to blend that with the same brush that I used to blend that foundation. Even with a tiny bit of that foundation left on the brush, it actually just helps to blend everything really easily and seamlessly. I always like to blend that contour up so it helps to lift the angles of the face rather than blend downwards. Now that that contour's on and the skin looks really beautiful and fresh and glowing, I'm going to set it now with some of the Bare Minerals. This is the original Mineral Veil Press Setting Powder. Oops, that was a little sponge that fell out. I'm just going to pop it on. It's a really lovely powder to use if you just want to give an extra bit of flawless finish to your base. So I'm going to move on to eyes now before I finish the skin. This is the Natasha Denona Shadow Primer. I really love this one because if you've got any dryness at all in the eye area, then it doesn't cling to that or make it look cakey like some primers. And that is just going to give us a beautiful kind of dewy looking lid. It also stays really well, even though it's a cream product. It dries and sets like a powder. This has a little bit of creaminess, but it sets once the eyeshadow goes on top and is very long wearing, whilst making those pigments that you put on top really show through. So it's a great all-rounder, this primer, and looks gorgeous and glowy and fresh too. So I would like Shivani's lids to be really kind of fresh and just a little bit glowy for this look. So I'm using the KVD Dazzle Stick in the shade Hail Surge, and what I'm going to do with this is I'm just pressing it in the center of the lid. I'm not going to put much other eyeshadow on, but the eyeshadows I am going to use are the Bare Minerals Sunlit Mineralist palette. It's got some really beautiful kind of shimmery neutral tones in. I'm going to use a little bit of this one here. This is called Golden Hour. This looks like a bit of shimmery shading rather than like a heavy eyeshadowy look. Just with a soft fluffy brush, I'm just popping this in the outer part of the eye, and then some of this deeper mahogany shade just on top, and this is just going to give us a little bit of extra definition in the socket there, just so it almost... So the main focus of this eye is going to be liquid liner and lashes. So I'm starting with the NYX Epic Liner Pen. This is an amazing liquid liner. It is so inky and so black and easy to use. The tip is actually made up of fibers, so it acts like a brush rather than a felt tip. And I'm really, really loving using this liner. I'm going to wing that out quite far so that we get quite a, not too thick, but still dramatic enough liquid line. Essentially, it's a really simple look on eyes. I'm just going to line in the waterline now with the Chantecaille Nude Eye Kohl. And then I'm going to put a touch of highlight in the inner corners, and then that is pretty much our eye look done. The blush I'm going to use is Ilia Color Haze pigment in the shade Waking Up. This is a really great neutral tone. It's almost like a pinky brownie nude. So I'm just going to pop a little bit of that on the apples of the cheeks and blend outwards. Now to highlight, and I'm using the Westman Atelier Super Loaded Tinted Highlight in the shade Peau de Rose. That is going a little bit in the inner part of the eye, reflects the light so beautifully. It looks like a powder, but it is actually a cream product. I'm going to put a touch, just a little bit on the tip of the nose, and a little bit in that part of the nose there, and then just blend, and then also at the top of cheekbones. And it is such a beautiful, glowy, slightly rosy tone, this. I'm obsessed. Now onto brows, and I'm using a little bit of soap in Shivani's brows just to kind of hold them in place, adds a little bit of volume too. And I like to just apply this and then wait for a moment or so for that to fully dry before I pop any brow product in. I'm going to fill in the brows now with the new Westman Co brow pen. This is in the shade Kohl. This is a great tone for anyone with dark brows, pretty much. Quite a versatile one, actually. And I love this because it's super buildable. Doesn't come out like really, really dark and dense with the first stroke, which means it's easier to do your brows without making mistakes, but you can layer and go over it until you get the desired effect. So I'm literally just going over the top of Shivani's natural brow hair and just elongating that brow slightly here, and I'm just gonna fill in this area and bring this hair slightly longer so we get a bushier effect. We're gonna finish this look with a really fun lip. Look how gorgeous this packaging is. These are the new Jimmy Choo lipsticks, and I'm gonna use the shade Hot Pink, which is such a beautiful, really, really intensely pigmented matte hot pink shade. So I'm just going to pop that on now. I'm going to go straight from the bullet because this is a brand new product, and I'm going to show you just how well that lipstick comes out. So much pigment. So I'm going to pop it on like this, and then I'm going to use a lip brush just to go around the outer edge of the lip, just to really perfect that shape. How gorgeous does this lip look? I am obsessed. Just going to set now with the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Finish Spray, just so that everything stays on. It also helps it to look a little bit more lived in. And then